We're
I don't
live.
I don't know how to display it, but we'll figure it out.
Well, I mean, look, not all of us, and that's maybe like proof of like maybe how not ready for prime time it is what we think it is, right? So,
Could
hey,
be.
Mister the Jonas, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right. See, it seems we're both not quite 100% today.
Oh, yeah. Have you ever had it's like I'm not on top of it? Like I'm just searching for words, or it's like I had a conversation with a great gal that I've met for the first time, and we're having those like one-on-one intro chats, and
Yeah.
I just felt like off kilter. Like we were just chatting and I was just like, man alive, this is just not my jam. I'm not like it was a great conversation, don't get me wrong. But I felt like I was all over the fracking place. Like I was like, oh my God, my ADD, ADHD is kicking in. Like I
Right.
just literally felt like, yep, the brain's going today.
Yep.
Are
Yeah.
you don't get those moments, do you?
Oh, so my day started with I went to feed the cats. Needed to throw away the little cat food container, but I missed the trash, which is under the sink. So that's already not a good start.
Yeah.
I reach down to pick up the cat food container off the floor, bang my head on the sink on the way down, back up, hit my hand on the sink, knock the cat food container out of my hand again, back on the floor, go down again. I just stopped myself from banging my head on the sink again.
Oh
It was bad,
man.
and it's been downhill from there in a lot of
Oh my
ways.
God. You know what? I'm telling you, it's just one of those days, sir. It's just gonna be one of those days. So I am personally excited because this is like a topic that I find like again today was the DALL-E ain't no Wall-E. Or is it? Do you like the title? Did you like that?
I like that. That was cute.
Yeah, I know some people were like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know how my brain functions, but it's gonna work today. So do you want to kick off should we just go ahead and kick off the show?
Let's do it.
Let's
Let's
do
have a
it.
chat.
I love that song. I mean, whoever like I give kudos to like these people that wonderful musicians that just like do these intro music for us because I certainly don't have the skill sets for it.
Right. Yeah.
Although I have to admit on my guitar I think I could play that riff, but we're not going to judge.
Yeah. No.
What's that?
That was my guitar over here.
Oh, I didn't hear that. That's hilarious. I can't reach that far back. Mine's so out of tune. Someone asked me the other day, they're like, "So are you they're like, can you play well?" I'm like, "No, it's really kind of just pretty. It
Right.
just looks pretty right there."
Right. I play very badly. That's one of my resilience exercises. I play so badly that I have to make myself keep playing.
Hey, Rocky. Thank you, familia. Thank you, thank you, beautiful, for joining us. So, okay, I gotta tell you, I was like, because we're doing this bi-weekly, right? So every other week, and I figure, how time goes. And this is just word of advice for anyone that live streams or wants to create digital content of any sort, or if you want to, build your brand or whatever on LinkedIn or YouTube or whatever have you. Um, it's amazing how fast time goes by when you're live streaming. Now, the act of live streaming is easy because here we are, we're chatting it up and we're just calling it a day afterwards, right? But you would think that we'd have enough time in between to plan,
No.
to make sure our guests are available. So I feel a little unloved right now, my friend. We talked to like I reached out to like 10 different people and I'm like, um, no one can make it today. So, but that's
Well,
okay.
we also switched plans in between the weeks.
Yeah, that does happen. But hey, we live a little bit, right? And I think that's the one thing that I'd like to say, how, and you from a techie perspective, when we have to pivot, when we have to like jump and change the topic at any given point in time, how flexible, like our minds can like jump, right? Like if we need to jump from like, section to section, topic to topic or whatever,
Yep.
like the way things are coded right now, do they have that same level of flexibility to pivot accordingly?
I'm not sure they can stay on track with one topic, much less manage multiple.
You don't think so?
Need some love.
Well, okay, look.
Well, I mean, that's not even a think so. I mean, I know because I have tried to do some things with the thing and different ones, and it's. I guess I guess it varies a little bit. Depends on how closely you want it to follow, but it's definitely not. It's definitely nowhere near a human's level of. I mean, ostensibly that you've got something that's 100% paying attention to you, and three or four exchanges later, it's completely forgotten what you said before.
Well, it's kind of like my brain right now. Didn't I mention that earlier? I'm like, 3 or 4 sentences later, it forgot. Like seriously, today I'm having just one of those days. So, um, yeah, it's like you just have to like stop
Oh,
and figure out like what's going on, though, right? Like,
yeah. So okay, so this is how this is where we are writing programs, which is one of the things that it's fairly good at. And so I was poking around with something, trying to make something work. I'm not really a programmer per se, so I don't know all the details of a lot of things. So it's really helpful to have something that I can say, well, I need to do this specific thing. How do you do that? And it give me some answers.
okay,
Great. So I said, I need to have this library installed on a program, and and the program, it gives me back several options, and I'm going through them, and I'm running into various little problems, and eventually it comes back and says, or you could use this thing that's specifically written for that particular environment to do that particular thing. And I said, why would you not start with that? Why would you give me this long, complicated thing that's not going to work instead of just lead with the one that's built for?
well, okay. So, but again, I think it's just like it doesn't know what it doesn't know, right? It knows it can give options, but it doesn't know how to
Right,
proactively,
exactly.
right? It's not a. It's yeah.
It's
So
a text
okay. I
machine. It's
mean,
not a thinking machine.
okay.
Which, admittedly, there are some people who qualify for that as well. But
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you. So okay, so here's where I actually was in a conversation the other day with an actual he is a video editor. So
right,
he's like very much within the industry and a creative himself. And I thought it was fascinating because I asked him what his thought on leveraging, these chat bots and all
hmm
that stuff. And he told me, he goes, I like it. He goes,
yeah,
I basically what he used it for was in a course that he was doing that he recorded
mhm,
himself, he was able to get his transcript and then he ran that through the AI, say, okay, clean that language up, take out my ums, I'll make
right,
me just sound cleaner. And then in his next course, it was written up cleaner. So his
mhm.
delivery was more succinct and all that stuff. And I was like, oh, damn. I mean, I
Takes
could
out
see
all
the
the
use case, which
odds and
saves him a
buts.
lot of time.
Yeah,
He himself is not the personality type that is like going to be like, you know, he's not a speaker, he's not a talker. And yeah. Oh, I'm losing you a little there, Jonas. I don't know if it's you or me.
be both.
Oh, it could be both of us. Oh my god, I'm not doing anything. I got no browsers up, my friend.
Well, no, this time I did get a message, but it's gone now, so maybe it's working.
Wait, what? Oh, that said your internet was unstable or mine.
Yeah, mine it
I'm
said mine.
having issues today. I think it's like me or something, man. I'm telling you, like. But anyway, okay, so what did you think about that? Like, 'cause I thought it was like a fascinating use case. And he's told me, he goes, dude, it saved me hours of time. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, that's not his forte,
Right,
right? So he's not a writer. He's not that kind of personality type and doesn't enjoy it. So I can see where leveraging these chat bots would be some for someone like him. He's like, I just want to deliver a message. I want to make it succinct and clear and just move on with my day.
right.
And I get that. But then yet still another part of me feels like, damn, but is that your voice? Is that who you are, right? And that's where I'm like, I'm torn still, Jonas, because the more I'm learning about it, the more I don't think it's that bad. The more I see all these like marketers on LinkedIn suddenly saying they're experts on it. And I'm like, how are you an expert suddenly? Did you code this shit? Like what?
Right. Well, so I don't know. I probably shouldn't tell that because that's not my story to tell. But there are people who are experts on this stuff who are figuring out ways to leverage the tools in interesting business case ways along that line, and I imagine that they will probably do a good job.
Okay.
Um, I think in terms of like your example there, it's still his words, but what I would wonder is how good of a job will it do on matching the delivery. But if that's not your strength in the first place, like you know, I would like to be able to use it to do some imagey kind of stuff. Although you've seen some of the output that I got, it was not
Oh
that
no,
great.
I'm literally putting it together as we speak because these are like fasting. I didn't quite realize when you had sent and like uploaded all these pictures to me. I was like, what is this all about? And now I get what you did, and I have to put it together. So I'm like, as you're talking, I'm literally putting this together right now. It's going to be the most ugly graphic, and I don't care. I just have to do it because I think it's absolutely fascinating. Um, so stay tuned. Give me 2 more seconds, guys, to put this together. So talk, Jonas. Talk.
Okay,
Speak, my friend.
so
Speak.
I do think that there is very much a use case where somebody uses the tool to smooth over rough edges or clean up bad video or what I have been doing for writing things is I have the idea, I know what I kind of want to say, but then I use the AI to fill in, and I ask for way more content than what I'm actually going to use. And then I can take that and say, yeah, no, that's crap. I'm not going to use that. And that's sort of right, but I want to rewrite it. So it ends up, so the process goes from me having the idea and then spending, an hour or 2 hours or 3 hours writing and writing and writing a bunch of crap and then
Right.
having to go back and edit it anyway. I can start with the idea, let the AI do all the crap writing, and then I can go back and take that and say, okay, well that's
It's
that
but
part's bad, that part's
yeah,
good, and then
yeah.
wrap it up, and it's still my voice because it was my idea,
Okay.
and I did the work to clean it up and get it and make it what I wanted it to be. But and I guess you could apply the same logic to I record a video and use the AI to clean up the bad edits or long pauses.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, like, things like that, like, those real bad, like, long pauses and awkwardness, like, I know, like, when you're thinking and I'm, like, don't know what you're thinking, and I'm, like, "I have no what the hell you're gonna say next," kinda thing, I'm, like, "I'll be quiet,"
Which is all the
and
time.
Raquel, it is not growing on me, girl. It is not growing on me, damn it. But, okay, so here's what we're talking about, everyone. So, we, well, actually, why don't you explain yourself on
Okay,
this?
so
Because this
so
is
the
fascinating to
the
me.
top middle picture there is the starting point. Just a plain old selfie, nothing special. And so I said, well, show me what I would look like if I had red hair. And apparently it thought I meant red body hair, uh, which I think that's kind of cool. If I could get like a hoodie that was made like that, that would be freaking awesome.
Um, you know, when I first saw that red-haired, bodied-haired one, I was like, "Oh my god, what did you type in Sasquatch as a
Right,
redhead or some like that?"
right. It's a ginger Sasquatch.
Yeah, no,
If I could be a
like,
Sasquatch,
legit,
that's what I
like,
would do.
yeah. Well, I mean, okay, so look at that, right? And then the first thought I thought actually thought it evoked for me was actually David Bowie. I'm like, "Did you add David Bowie
It does,
in
yeah,
his
it
Ziggy
does remind me,
Stardust
yeah,
phase?"
a little bit, yeah. I think the
Yeah.
other one on the top there is pretty interesting. It's like what would I look like if I was in good shape, basically. It's just if I
Yeah,
were a
okay, so this
fitness
is a
buff.
so what does that tell you about body dysmorphia then, if that's what the AI designs?
I mean, first of all, it's like Siamese twins, fitness Siamese twins. I'm not judging the guy because he's wearing a sports bra. I think if that's his jam, go for it.
Oh my god, I just realized that. Oh my gosh.
Uh,
Jonas, I mean, you do run every morning at 5, 6
yeah,
in the morning. You
yeah.
don't want to wear a little bra there?
I probably should, but no, that's not really my shade either. But I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't know. You
I'm
can
not
look
sure
good in a little
how it
purple.
goes from that starting point to that's a pretty big jump to me.
You look muscular. You look muscular, sir. Okay, so talk to me about
Yes, you can see.
the bottom on the lower right
Okay,
then.
so
What was your
okay,
prompt?
so this one the top row was Runway is the app that was used for that. The bottom
Oh, it's a
one,
different use a different
yeah,
app.
bottom one
Okay.
is all DALL-E. I believe, yeah, I think that's all DALL-E. And so the first one, I just asked for a realistic picture of Jonas Bull, and apparently it thinks that all people named Jonas wear glasses and wear brown ball caps with horns.
Yeah, by the way, yeah. To clarify everyone, that is not a cowboy hat. That you're wearing a Viking horn on your
Yeah,
head.
those are horns. The other
I
one
wonder
was it just output a just a bull cow with horns.
Oh yeah, I downloaded that and it didn't come up.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, no,
okay.
okay, this
So
cracked me up.
these two on these other two there that look like logos, I actually thought those turned out fairly well because I was asking for, I was just playing around with it, and I said, well, let me see if I can redo a logo, and I had the gym that I was working at, he had just redone his logo and paid somebody to do it, and so I did, I used the same color scheme and said, okay, well, whatever parameters I used, and I actually thought that fit fairly well. So in terms of designing some sort of crazy looking logo from scratch, that wasn't too bad.
I mean, it's not that great.
The yeah, well the Jolia Juna whatever that guy is, that's a realistic picture of .com Jonas. I'm assuming that's
Uh,
supposed to be a pullover sweater.
yeah.
I'm not sure what the little. I guess that's a little necklace thing, maybe. I don't know.
I don't think it's a necklace. I think it's a zipper maybe.
Maybe it's a zipper. Yeah, maybe it's a zip up.
But okay, so okay, now this is what now you said you used DALL-E for
Yeah,
this, right? Okay, so the reason why I want to show this first is that um you have to wonder how much effort the human, let's say you get this output, right?
right.
And you're like, how do I make this better as a human? Like, there's my template, if you will. And you make it so realistic that it looks amazing. And so the reason why I asked this is um, I'm so bummed out. I have so many great photographer friends who are like completely unavailable today, which is unfortunate. But I figure we could probably revisit this again with them on there and do like a panel.
Right.
But here's where I wanted to show is this right here. So this was a Sony annual Sony competition, and this is off Business Insider, and it says an artist who won an award at a world-renowned photography competition says the winning image was actually generated by AI. So
Yeah.
that picture is not real.
Yeah. I still don't see the picture. I've seen the picture.
Now they said some people said it's obvious that it is fake, and I was like, damn. Well, then if it's obvious, then how is it that again Sony would, they have great cameras, right?
Well, yeah,
That
and I
they
would assume they're used to looking at artistically designed photos. Uh, but if you're in the context where you're assuming you're expecting that everything that you're given is a photo and you're excited about the photo, I mean that's what you're
yeah
expecting to see,
no
so that's what you see. But I think
yeah
that
no,
says
and
a
this
lot
is what's
about our how we perceive things too.
I mean, okay, so, like, I'm looking at this picture and I'm like, okay, there's I mean, the shadows look great to me, right?
Yeah,
And of course, that guy did say, like, "I want some lens flare, I
mhm,
want some 40s, it's supposed to be a 1940s,
right,
picture and all that." But again, you wouldn't get that kind of lens flare, like that coloring right there like
right.
that, right?
I want to know
But
who the there's the one hand that looks like it's supposed to be the lady that's behind, but yeah,
that's a
yeah,
man
yeah.
hand, baby.
Janice got it. That the one hand is like the wrong hand. It's like it should be a left hand, but it's a right hand. Or
Oh, shoot, you're right.
yeah,
Ooh.
that's
I mean, it is creepy. Well, they said there's supposed to be a third person, maybe with a different hand reaching out to her or
maybe
something.
maybe.
But it's that man hands that is very, very
Well,
weird that to me, I'm
some
just kinda like
messed up looking nails on those fingers too.
and it's almost like they have too many wrinkle bumps. What do you call that? I don't know what these are called,
Yeah, right.
there's
The knuckle,
your nails, you're in between and I don't but it looks like there's too many like they have arthritis, it feels like to me.
maybe maybe people did have arthritis a lot in the 40s. I don't know.
Just okay. Yeah, no, okay, so I'm like looking at that but here's the thing. Okay, okay, compare your wonderful and don't get me wrong, no judgment,
Hmm.
beautiful image, my friend, to this. Okay, so you, you so that person did a lot of work to make that
Right,
picture look authentic, look real.
right.
They did do some light speed, Lightroom, whatever, whatever, photoshopping.
Yeah.
Um, is that still artistic? Because what they output here, clearly there's a lot more work that needs to be done. So is it possible to say, no, yeah, it's not a real photographer. This is not real photography. He didn't take the picture. Um, but is it still art?
Yeah, and that's so in the context of a photo contest. I think it's fair to say no, that's not a photo because they're it's Sony and their whole point is to we do cameras and film and you should be taking pictures with cameras. But is it art? Um, who decides that? I mean, a lot of the visual artists people we were just talking about before the show that I've met some pretty interesting people through uh, John and Kristen who have a show called an audio event called Main Event on LinkedIn. That's pretty freaking awesome. And a lot of the visual artist people that are on that are big fans of using this technology.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to for the final product, but as a way to quickly skip through trying some different things and seeing what some different color combinations look like and things like that. And you know, good for them. Of course, we also know some people who are not huge fans of it, who think that it's that there's all kinds of
Is it
copyright
cheating?
problems. Right, exactly.
Exactly. Let's talk
And
about that copyright problem because I thought that was a great point that was made by Nick, right? Earlier. Excuse me.
yep,
Nick said, "Hey, like, um, it- can we legally go after, um, AI generated artwork to protect the subjects, for example?"
yeah. So I think that specifically what Nick was talking about, if I remember right, was they're training the models on existing artwork, and supposedly they're training them on stuff that's no longer under copyright or whatever. But it certainly appears that they have a lot of stuff that is that would still be covered by copyright. And I don't know what the answer to that is legally. I don't know that anybody knows yet what the answer to that is legally. Um, and and I don't know that I want to be the first test case for it either. Um, but it's a
Well,
valid concern. And how would you know? Because I mean,
yeah, no, I mean, look at this one. This was another art contest. So this was, excuse me.
oh yeah,
This is another AI that won an art contest. I took this picture from CNN, so full disclosure, and basically this
speaking of copyright,
happened September 3rd, 2022. So this was last
yeah,
year.
right,
Um,
yeah.
so
All these tools have
he
been out for a
he
while.
This one's been out for a while.
All the tools have been out for a while
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
in one
He,
form or
by the way, just so we're like on the up and up, it's called Théâtre d'Opera Spatial, Spatial,
okay,
Space Opera Theater is what he named it, and it was used using Midjourney,
right? Very popular.
and yeah. So he came in and admitted that it was a well, he's a game designer, won first place. Um, It was digital arts, digitally manipulated photography category. So, okay, so this was
Okay.
digital arts, digital manipulated. Is that not AI? Qualified, I guess.
Well, what? Yeah, what would be the deciding point there? And so I have from our new friend Vicky Smolyan, who's an
Small year.
intellectual Smolyan, yeah,
Yep.
who's an intellectual property attorney, put me on to a. This is not a court case, but it's a copyright office decision for Zarya of the Dawn, which is a comic book that was largely created with AI.
Mm.
And so the decision was skipping through all of the long legalese. Uh, their decision was that the since the images were created primarily with AI, that they could not be copyrighted because there was not enough human uh, work put into it.
Interesting. Okay, so this is where again, it's a bummer that the people that we wanted on today to talk about this aren't on, but I think it's a good conversation starter. I think this is a good like ending point for us on this is question. And Raquel and Janice, you guys just let me know what you think. Is this something that's considered fine art then? Because there's a lot of discussion on the value of art and leveraging that, as investments, for example. So, does it retain and can it have valuation like a Leonardo da Vinci artwork piece?
But why is Leonardo da Vinci art valuable? I mean, it's good. There are people who could do the same thing today.
I mean, Janice, AR, I can see that an AI art museum. I mean, we have a
Although you
modern
might as
art
well be
museum.
online.
It's a different medium and tool. I think it's that recognition, though, that no, this was yes, we are admitting this was created by an AI, with the help of an AI tool,
Right.
right? That's kind of the way I would just describe that. Um, I worry again, going back to look how beautiful that is painted, right? Look how going back to this picture is like look how again, and by the way, the word is knuckles. Thank you, Janice. I thank you. I thank you. I'm like, what are those pieces of the fingers? But again, it is uh we are at that stage right now that we're going to rely on news. We're going to be relying on people that is going to use these types of images that we already know that our news is owned by corporations. Okay. There is no freaking integrity in journalism anymore. Yeah, I said it.
Right.
Okay. There's going to be incredible bias in the reporting that we're going to see publications do video, right? Do audio. You can spoof people's voices. I mean, this is like, I worry about it starts off with art and I feel like it can go off to the dark side of things,
I yeah, of course. No
right?
doubt. If there's a way to manipulate something for gain or just to be a pain in the butt, then somebody's going to do it just because it's there.
And that disturbs me, my friend.
But that's a human problem. That's not an AI problem.
Okay.
We're just okay with it when they're using tools that we are used to.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
so just email like or text messages or phone calls. Uh, my son sent me a text message today saying, "Why did you put me on the car warranty list?" He's got
No.
seven calls today.
No, I call that the I don't like you, if you're gonna put someone on that thing.
Right. Well, I
I
didn't
mean,
put him on the list, but I mean that stuff is there, and nobody likes it, but nobody's calling for a ban on cell phones or telephone service because it's too useful, and we're used to it. We're used to you're going to get some spam calls. You're going to get some spam text messages.
I get it, I get it, and I just so, again, I think I like your point, Janice, that you're making is, like, we gotta identify it as such, right? That it is um it is a tool. It is something that, like, for our next generation. I do support what you're saying, by the way. Support your local publications because that's where local journalism, that's where authenticity lives. But girl, going back to what we were talking about earlier, which is really frustrating me a little bit, is that whole chat GPT, GPT-4 and all the BARD and all that stuff. And oh man, what was that other one? That is it Jasper? Where I forwarded you, I go, "Oh my god, Jonas, did you see the comments on this thing?" Is what if our local journalists decide like, "Screw it, no one ever reads my stuff anymore anyway. I'll just prompt it, write up an article, make it generic enough, and boom, I got my 200 words in." Or you wrote for about 150 words, and you're like, "Hey, chat, I need 50 more words," and boom, if they put fillers in for you.
Yeah, and that's a real concern. Um, but I think that's a concern that is going to peak and go away because I mean I know people who are specifically planning to implement some sort of I'm going to have this thing automatically generate Medium articles and Subspace articles and LinkedIn articles and just have it churn them out and be on my subject and uh, okay, yeah, and you and about 1,000 million other people, and they're all going to start sounding alike. They're all going to start looking alike, and everybody's going to get sick of it. And as Janice points out, we're going to go back to not necessarily local journalism, although that qualifies too, but we're going to go back to the things that are personal and relationship oriented and things that where we feel a tribe exists, where we have a connection. And that's something that is very hard to fake.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're right on that. And again, it goes. Okay, so let me ask you this on LinkedIn and social media in general. If we're going to be commenting and it's generated by a bot, for example, of like we all got a lot like literally, I'm not posting every day on LinkedIn as they tell you as one should, right? Because I'm just slammed these days. Could it be, and is it still you? Where hey, it looks close enough to something I would say, and then you post it. Is it still you? Is it still
Well,
you?
pre pre Chat GPT, uh, LinkedIn and Google Gmail rather, both of them have a little helper thing. So if somebody sends you a message, they give you a little quick response.
Yeah.
Like thank you for your interest or whatever. And
Or yeah, I agree, or some shoe.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I will have to admit that there are times when that is my response. If somebody's harassing me about something, or not harassing, I shouldn't say that, but somebody's sending me what do you think about this? It's fine, just go with it.
Oh, no, that makes sense. No, that totally makes sense. And by the way, Janice, you're right. It's investigative journalism that AI can't do.
Yeah.
Um, that is true. But what if it's like a noir enough, right? Like what if it's like you do the generic enough of like, okay, like murders will happen kind of vibe. Like, I don't know. Like, is that something that would uh could you write like the basics of the settings of a potential murder or a car wreck, for example, and then you fill in the details, I guess. Is that considered investigative journalism? I don't know. I guess it's like you're deeping into corruption, you're digging in more into corruption and stuff, right?
Well, I think the connections, that seems to be where the GPTs, at least the LLMs, fall apart. Um, I didn't. So
Okay.
by the way, I did not know this, which is a little sad that I didn't make the connection. But the image program that we're most of the image programs that we're talking about use the same technology. It's the same technology as the language models. So it's not based on language. Obviously, it's based on images, but it uses the same generative pre-trained transformers.
That's fascinating because okay, this is yet another. So the next two that I'll be pulling up here, and then I guess we should be able to wrap it up here. Is this yet is another image that was generated, and that would be something that again, fine art, something you'd see in a museum.
If I were so having not too long ago gone to some well, yeah, it actually has been a long time ago, but having been to some North African countries, if that was in a museum or a church or a public building, I would just assume that was a portrait. It would never cross my
Right?
mind that, I mean, I can't see a lot of detail from here, um, but it wouldn't surprise me. Like I would expect to see a little plaque underneath there that explains that this was you know Hussein who was freed this village from somebody 100 years
Oh my
ago or
gosh.
whatever.
Okay, what if we do the reverse? Oh my gosh, what if it's the reverse where someone does an AI generated model like this and then they paint it and then they are like, that's mine. Is it considered
Ooh,
theirs? Or are they
that's a
copying the AI?
that's a good question because the AI can't copyright it as
They
of today.
can't? Okay.
They cannot. The AI's version of it is not copyrightable because it was not generated by a human.
I mean, look at this one. I mean, dude,
Yeah,
like, I mean, just look at like the tech, like you could see the brush strokes and all
right,
that stuff. Now, mind you, this is just a digital image; it's not an
right.
actual painting. Until you paint, and unless you code or you program, a robot to do these brush strokes, then again, is it painting? Like
Well,
it's a painting, right? A painting's a painting.
as of February, it still wouldn't be copyrightable because
It still wouldn't be.
right.
Okay, Janice, I almost feel like I need to have you jump on. Can you type and expand on that? Because I want to understand what that means. So, a real like the AI can do to potentially help shift racism. That's an interesting statement because I don't know how that would connect. So, if you don't mind expanding on that, I would love to hear more on what you were saying on that.
And I'll, I'll
Um,
I'll throw out a couple of reminders though. One of the things we talked about was bias earlier on our
right.
show, and uh, that there is, we have seen bias creep in. We've also seen where some of that bias is a reflection of reality and needs to, rather than being just corrected for and move on, we probably need to examine why that bias was there in the first place, because it came from us.
Well, it came from a human that coded based on their experiences and their
or
bias on how
or it was data
it.
collected, and maybe, sometimes it comes from the way the data was collected, but sometimes, if you think about like housing, for example, there are disparities in housing and zoning, and it's not because of the way the data is collected. It's not because the person who wrote the program was biased. It's because that's the reality. Is we as a society have created that situation.
Okay.
Anyway, so Janice says,
So,
"Go ahead."
do you wanna read? Okay,
Yeah.
I if we highlight community. Oh my god, I can't speak English. If we highlight communities in elevated positions, people can start to reframe the color and gender of leaders. Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now you've got me thinking. So if I were to I'm like almost for giggles here, I'm gonna go into Chat GPT. I'm just gonna Chat GPT. Or no, actually it would be more like Dolly, right? I don't have Dolly. Can you um type in and do a prompt and just all you gotta say is um, like executive leader. I'm curious to see what
Let's do
image
it.
comes up.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do it.
We're gonna test this, Janice,
Executive.
because I think this is gonna be a real eye opener to see what kind of image comes up. Do you have to download Dolly? Can it just be a web browser thing or no?
You can do it on a web browser. I just happen to have the window open. So okay. So that is in a way both more and less diverse than I would have expected. Okay, so I
Well,
have four. I have it defaulted to pull up four images at a time. One of them is a guy.
Do you want to share your? Do you want to share it? Or
Uh,
I think you should be able to share.
let's see if I can do that. Yeah, I think I can do that.
It should be that little bottom.
Let's see. There we go. I think you have to put it on the screen, but
Yep.
so there we go.
Interesting.
We have what appears to be 3 male-ish looking people and 1 female-ish looking person. One of them looks maybe vaguely some sort of
Asian.
specific.
He looks Asian. At least
Yeah,
for me, he looks Asian.
and one guy who looks
Interesting.
like he's got a beard. So +1 for the
So
bearded,
okay. So
+1
there's
for the bearded
some.
executives. The one guy kind of looks like
Uh,
Vince Pacini a little bit.
Vince, have you been cloned in AI or what's up, buddy?
But yeah, so it's a very pale bunch.
It is. Well, you got the token Asian, but yeah, it is paler. And the assumption being it's well, anyway, I'm not gonna
Yeah, well, I mean
comment
that's a
more beyond that. I'm not gonna get myself in trouble more than it is. But and you typed in executive leader though,
sure
right?
did. It's right there on the above.
Oh, I can't read that small.
Yeah, well.
I'm old, my friend. My vision is nowhere near what we're gonna look like.
But yeah, and so that's the defaults for executive leader.
Interesting. So again, I mean, again, when I look at things like this, because we've got a girlfriend in our group, Johanna. She's amazing, and like she does pastels, and she actually does it live on LinkedIn, which I think is amazing. And then she ends up selling her artwork to folks that see the artwork being created. And again, I could just see where. I gotta ask, man. Like, okay, what if she saw this? She typically does landscape. She doesn't do human shapes, but if that would be a landscape that she would want to emulate, because there's a lot of neat little aspects of it, right? But
Right.
I don't know. Now I'm torn. I am torn. It is fascinating. It is fascinating, Janice, because now I'm like, I don't want it to replace what I do, right? If I were an artist, I would be greatly concerned of it maybe cheating. Is it cheating?
I I think it's cheating if you like the photo guy. If you're entering your AI generated art in a photo contest as a photo and not admitting it like he did, uh, that's cheating. In the same way that if you know enter your I don't know enter your car in a stock car kind of race and you have a Formula One car, that's cheating because that's a completely different thing. It's a completely different concept.
I mean, or okay, so now I actually made this argument. Oh, this is where we could have gotten like, Mark and Jonathan to join in, which is I had a theory of like, remember in the 90s when all the baseball players were all roided up and there was like the home run race and they talk about the Tour de France. Everyone was juiced up, right?
Right?
Like, I wonder if we just and I argued it. I go, why don't we just say, yeah, admit that you juiced up and there'll be two different races if you will in the same race, right? Like to say, look, I know I'm juicing up, and then you're now on level playing field with other juiced up individuals.
Yeah.
And just if you're gonna do it, do it. Like own it. And for those that can test clean and have able to remain not, whatever, maybe there's a different record.
Right.
Like I think in baseball, I think they went with asterisks, right? For the home runs, like McGuire, or did they just remove him altogether? I can't remember.
They started removing them, and I think they went back to having asterisks. I don't know. It keeps changing.
Yeah,
Hey,
no, it's
Janice
true.
had
And
some good insights here today. Like,
Janice is on fire. I love her. So I think you're right. With every innovation, it brings fear of replacement. But we'll shake out what was old is new until the new thing. So this goes back to that a lot of people we talk in our technology world, which is okay, automation replacing folks in like data entry type
Right.
roles, right? But to me, that also breeds new opportunity, or a cottage industry of other different things that fill new gaps that are created. So that's why data scientists is as a field is growing like crazy,
Yeah.
right? I mean, we're keeping all our data. Like, God, do you remember the days when we were talking about like, oh my God, how big a terabyte of storage is?
Yeah. I remember when a 40 terabyte database was a monster. Not been
Right?
that long ago.
And it wasn't that long
And
ago. And
now
that's
that's
what's
like,
frightening.
yeah. Now you can get 40 terabytes of data on little SD cards and carry them in your pocket.
Yeah, I know. And it's crazy because like I mean, left tech sales back in 2017. It's only been 6 years, but I feel like it's like eons ago.
Yeah, in some ways it is. And that's the thing is and I think that's what a lot of the more fearful people are talking about with AI, whether they're expressing it that way or not. I think a lot of them are seeing that the pace of change, the pace of innovation and change is has accelerated to the point that they fear that it is getting out of control or that it is out of control.
Okay, so if I may expand on that statement, I actually read this article. This is like last year, where someone said, "Have has our technology exceeded the human capability to manage it?"
Right,
Right, and I think that is something that I wonder to some degree. Again, to what end are we innovating for?
right.
If we're innovating to simplify our life, right? Which is, again, if we can automate things in certain ways, like for you, like you said, the fact that Gmail, for example, has like little prompts that actually seem to follow suit with email, right? And you're like, oh damn, this is like fits perfectly.
Yeah, well,
Um, like, are those little cheat, to save you some time? Is that helpful, or do we start to become reliant on that and it gets bigger and bigger and then it just kind of snowballs? Like, and it becomes Wall-E, for example, right?
well,
Did you see the
yeah,
movie?
and I think that's a good example. That was a surprisingly good movie to be a kids movie and be the kind of subject matter that it was. I mean, technologically, no, but in terms of society. So to go
It
to use the email example, if we are business associates of some sort who sort of we just do business together. We don't hang out. We don't really talk or anything. And you send me an email, ask me a question, and I use an AI to generate the response. The response is correct in every way. I just use an AI to generate it, and I send that to you.
Mhm.
Okay, that's not necessarily, maybe it's cheating, maybe it's not cheating, but like it's not that big of a deal, right? You got the information you wanted. You don't really
Yeah.
need my personality in there, but
I mean, I think for
but
basic business
but
conversations of that nature, like, yes, no, that's
but if
fine.
we're dating or married and it's our anniversary, and I use an AI to write you a
A
letter,
poem.
that's a little bit of a different situation, right? I mean, it says the right
Yeah.
things. It says the things that you want to hear, and they may even be maybe they're exactly what I wanted to say and wasn't able to say. But how would your feelings about one be different than the other?
If I knew that my boyfriend had written something to me, first off, I know it was a computer, AI generated, because in 20, and by the way, it'll be soon 21 years, he'd never written anything of that. And if it's romantic on top of that, I'd be
Right.
like, I'm like, no, no, not no, it's not in our nature." Unless it might be a bad poem, then it might be in our nature. But yeah, no, I think it's I think again, artwork, it's such a, to me, a very personal thing. It's subjective, completely subjective of what we view as art, right? Even like the type of art. In this case, we did like the fantastical, right? Of like a traditional, almost like gothic looking fantasy type painting. I don't even know what technique that's called because I'm not an artist. Um, it actually looks like a very gamey, like a gamer commercial like setting, doesn't it? Landscape.
Could be, yeah.
And then you've got something that, again, a traditional, I'd say, portrait style.
Very, very much,
I'm
very
not talking
portrait
about the
style.
subject. I'm just talking about the portraiture. I don't even know if this is even ethnically accurate drawing of or depiction of anyone's
Any
culture.
culture? I don't know.
I
It
mean, it
kind of
kind
looks
of.
like a mishmash of several.
I was gonna say like medieval. What? Yeah. And oh, okay. Maybe I'm getting what Janice is saying though. Is maybe this is like multicultural, no culture specific. I don't know. Would I be offended? It's like they said this is their impression of Thailand. I might be like wildly off.
Here's a
You know?
I typed in nonprofit leader to see what would come up, and
Oh, dude, I want to see it. Share, share,
yeah,
share.
it's there. That's different.
Did you share it? It
Yeah.
didn't pop up
Oh
yet.
well.
Oh, there we go. Hold on.
So I don't know what that second one is all about. Uh, but if nilpoots is not a word, it should be.
Nilpoots.
But
Oh my god.
again,
You're a noddler. You're a noddler.
right? Um, again, very pale. Uh, I think the more feminine gender seems to be a little bit more represented, but at least one of them can't seem to be a leader without having some guys backing her up. So yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely some suggestion that there may be some bias in that.
Yeah, there is definitely some bias in this one here.
So,
Nonprofit
no,
leader, huh?
nilpoots.
You're a nilpoot. You know what? Can you send me that picture? Because I like that noddler, nilpoot, and propelnot. I think we need to just start our own slang terms and be like, let's just make it up.
It's like AI originated slang terms.
Hey, Chris, it's a long time no see, my friend. I just added 3 words to my vocabulary. You guys, we need to make that a thing. Let's just make it a thing and just see how long people take to be like, the hell are they talking about? And make it trendy.
Right?
What query are you doing now? What's this one?
Okay. This was church leader. So we have a couple
Is
of
he holding a beer?
we
What is that?
I have no idea what that is. It's not a beer though. It looks more like a stamp, like a
Okay, and that dude that's on a fence are the people? Oh no, because I can't see that well. It looks like the people were part of the fence, and I'm like, oh my god, did he put his hat on someone's head because they're the fence, but they're not.
yeah, no.
They're standing behind a fence.
Yeah, apparently church leaders stand behind fences. Um, most of them don't
Uh,
have a top of their head, unfortunately.
Fascinating.
Uh,
Again,
but I they do look a little bit more ethnic. I'm not sure about this guy in the third one there. It's kind of hard to
it's
tell
kind
if
of
he's
head
missing
cut.
a head.
Okay, so here's the other thing. Why is this AI purposely cutting people's heads off? Like,
That's a good question.
and Chris, you think that's AI microphone? That is a funky looking microphone, my friend.
Maybe.
It looks like a, you know what it looks like? It looks like a bishop in chess.
Yeah, it's like a bishop on top of a candlestick.
Yeah,
Maybe that's the
well,
whole point. Maybe it's not the guy that's the church leader. It's the bishop on the candlestick that's the church leader. Because it's AI. I mean, it
yes.
doesn't know.
Well, that's true. It doesn't understand the difference between the two. Yeah, no, that's really interesting. This is a fun little activity that we did here. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do another one, and we'll close up because I thought we'd be done 20 minutes ago, but we got into a run here.
All right.
So, oh, do a rock star.
Okay. Well, that should be interesting. Okay, so I'm going to type this in, but when you say rock star, who are you thinking of? What's your image?
Well, that's funny because I'm literally looking at posters right in front of me, and so I'm looking at a guitarist.
Okay.
So I'm thinking
I
like
we're
like a David Bowie,
yeah,
quite
we're
frankly.
similar age. I'm thinking of like somebody that's like John Bon Jovi, that kind of, 80s
Mm.
Bon Jovi.
I'm not a Bon Jovi person, but
Yeah, but
okay, okay, okay.
I
So
love
the
the top
imagery
knot.
is
I wish I could get away with that. I don't have enough hair.
uh Uh-huh. Actually, yeah, why do you have your back turned to us? Again, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
Oh, well, bye, Janice. Thanks for coming, beautiful.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I don't know about
beautiful.
that.
Um, yeah, no, but I mean, again, is it meant to be like an inspiration? So, like, maybe, okay. So maybe if I'm a photographer and I've got like a photo shoot and I'm like, oh, I need to photo people that are rock stars, and then bam, I can emulate that
Right.
picture
And just cut their heads off.
and cut half their heads off, right?
Yep.
They're very okay. These images, just between you and me, the fence post, don't they feel a little 90s-y
Yeah.
or 2000s,
Yeah, they feel last decade for sure.
right?
Yeah, 90s to 2000. But when would Rockstar Pictures have been?
Dude, at its peak, I would say like starting in the 60s and 70s after the Beatles, right? Like everything started getting real popular in the 70s. It was like definitely, and then 80s was all about the posters,
Right. Yeah.
right? Okay, can you do one last one? Because
Yeah.
I'm just
Okay.
curious. Can you do podcaster?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I know.
So I'm thinking we're going to get Joe Rogan and Tim Ferriss. Those are my.
Hey, Benita. Podcaster, I think it's gonna be just someone with a microphone in hand.
Could be. Or someone with a microphone in front of their face.
Something like that.
Okay.
Okay, podcaster. Okay, those are generic.
Yeah, I mean that looks like some they just pulled that straight off of
Yeah, out of Canva or one of those
right,
stock
right.
footage images. Okay, okay.
But
I
but I
need to
see
see
a
this
lot
one
more
then.
diversity here.
Oh, fascinating. Yes. How about how about IT or cybersecurity consultant?
Okay, cybersecurity consultant. That should be interesting. Consultant.
Hey, Benita.
What do you need
Yeah,
on the mic?
we're just kind of going down. We're wrapping up here, but we're just going through like we're just asking DALL-E to like show us images because Janice had an interesting point of removing racial bias, and so I was like, well, let's prove it. So we're just throwing out like careers and terms and just to see, how it would pop up. So this was IT consultant, you said?
Yep. No, this is
Eh?
cybersecurity consultant.
Oh, cybersecurity consultant. Okay.
Yeah.
First off, completely inaccurate. There aren't any cybersecurity people I know that are wearing a tie.
Well, I figure that's the one he's consulting to. That's some Russian oligarch that he's consulting with.
Right? That's a familiar look of them holding the
You're right.
what are we looking at here?
That's 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 me staring at log files all day.
You know what I feel like? I feel like Dolly cheats a little bit with some of these like stock footage images. Like, so the gal up here in front, she literally could be any topic that pops up.
Right. Right. Right.
Like a student in class, remote learning. This could be a marketing engine, like whatever, right? This could be a finance person.
Although
Like it just
apparently
seems so
not an
generic.
executive leader.
Chris, you wear a tie. Chris, you wear a tie when you have to. When you're like told to speak to someone like in the C-suite, but otherwise, but anyway, but Chris is a very handsome young man, so yes, he can pull off the tie,
Pull
so
off
it's
the tie.
okay. Yes, yes. So, okay, well, I think we've had our fun. Unless you want one last thing, because we might as well just finish at the top of the hour if you want to. Hey, Chris or Benita, do you have a recommendation? Give us a recommendation of what you'd like to see, and we'll pump it up, and that'll be our last hurrah.
If nobody
Um,
nobody gives me anything, I'm gonna type in cool beans.
oh, type in cool beans. Yeah, let's see what that comes up with. That'll give us some time. And oh, so is it thinking? Is that why we're seeing
Yeah,
like
yeah.
images there
Thinking
waiting?
about it.
Okay.
So it gives you beans that are presumably
Oh,
refrigerated.
well, those are all
There you
beans.
go.
Okay, yes, of course. Why didn't you even think of that for Benita? Trade compliance consultant.
Okay. I don't even know what that is.
You need to read Benita's posts. They're like freaking like I don't even think about it. It's like it is so like global, like ramifications of global world trade and all that good
Oh,
stuff.
okay,
It's
so like
like
complying with inter international
international sales
regulations.
and yeah, trade and all that stuff.
Okay,
Well,
well,
there you go, beautiful.
apparently trade compliance consultants are hands.
And they're cramped. Trade crimp. Oh my god, that's so funny.
Triad trad tromplon.
Crimp crimp. Yeah, you're like your industry is like even AI doesn't even know what you guys do.
I don't know. There's a lot of arrows pointing back and forth between the Caint per and the Trima.
Well, that actually tells you like how fluid and process wise all that. Like, she's like laughing about it. There you go. Hey, that's how they think of your peeps,
You got
beautiful.
this. Would that be a French flag, or that's a French flag. So you got the little French guy who's very happy with his trade, and this poor lady who's just exasperated with the whole thing and ready for the show to be
Again,
over.
what's with our head cut off?
Yeah, and again with half the head cut off.
That's too funny. All right. Well, hey guys, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you. And yet again, this is one of those episodes where we're just kind of like investigating and not investigating. We're just really just chewing on it and any ideas of everyone that has to, help us understand like why you love it, why you don't love it, where it makes sense. I'd love it. For me, it was I was really fascinated by the fact that I think we should have AI art contests. I'm totally fine with that. We just have to acknowledge that it is what it is. Um, and I think
I
that
would
that
love to
would
see an
be
AI art contest. I would love to see AIs judging non AI art. Just see what they come up with. Obviously, if you have their heads halfway cut off, you're gonna win.
exactly. That's perfect. Well, everyone, thank you so much for joining. And on that note, my friend, shall we just wrap this up?
Let's do it.
All right.
Well, that was